Well, hello out there, all you styrene users and abusers. This is George coming to you from Kitchen Table Scale Models, live at the kitchen table with another episode of Off the Shelf. Off the Shelf is a series of videos I'm doing where I'm pulling old bills down off of my display and just talking about them a little bit and sharing them. This one is an oldie. This is an MPC 69 Plymouth GTX kit. Was built somewhere in the 90s, early to mid 90s. Has been well boxed up and cared for ever since, and went back up on the display shelf a few years ago when I started pulling my models out. I'm really proud of this build. Probably represents maybe overall one of the finest builds I did, at least excuse me, at least from a detailing standpoint. I did a lot of wiring on the engine, a lot of detailing on the engine, fuel lines, little fuel blocks. Even did a throttle spring on this one. If I remember right, I did the throttle spring. I took a filament out of the, or no, it was a single strand of wire out of some stranded wire, and wound it around a pin to create the throttle spring. I'm going to try to shoot some close-ups of this before I close out, but probably one of the most unique things about this car is the color. I can't remember what I used for a base. I think it was white. I think it was white primer. But the top coat is a 50-50 mix of Tester's Stoplight Red and Turn Signal Amber to yield this really nice, brilliant orange color. It's kind of a candy metallic. It's real subtle. I thought the paint just came out really nicely on this, and let's hold this up, get it a little closer to camera. Something I just noticed, I didn't even remember I did, is the red stripe on that rocker panel. That kind of touches things off. Looks like the chassis is loose from sitting in the box or sitting on display for however long. See a nice shot of the interior there. That was old school, picking out the numbers with a toothpick, picking out the gauge numbers. Interior, I'm pretty happy with the way that interior came out. The wood looks good. I didn't try to do any fancy wood graining. I just got the brown color in there. Let's turn it over, look at the chassis. I made custom exhaust tips out of a piece of aluminum tubing. The GTX had an oval exhaust tip, and I was able to shape the opening on that tubing and paint the inside red to make it look like GTX exhaust tips. Chassis was, moderately detailed with some paint. I really like this this old Tester's, I think it was called Jet Exhaust, was a nice color for painting exhaust pipes, and you can see that's what I used here. I don't remember what I used on the engine. If it was a Chrysler engine blue, it could have been. I think Testers or Model Masters at least did do it. Testers and Chrysler engine blue back then. I wanted it to be something different in the engine compartment. You see GTXs are typically with 440s, and they're typically six-pack cars. I wanted this to be different. This is 2 4-barrels. Interestingly enough, I actually saw a 68 GTX with a 440 and 2 4-barrels at a cruise this weekend, so it kind of made me smile. Yeah, this is you can kind of see some of the detailing in there. See if we can pull in here. I've got all of the ignition wiring. You can see the ballast resistor is wired. The alternator wiring is properly color coded. Let me see if I can move something out of the way here. Behind these spark plug wires, no, I'm not gonna be able to move it. I used a little glass diode as the fuel line, and it serves the diode piece looks like a an old glass fuel filter. Um, I think one of the reasons I really love this build is, quite frankly, I no longer have the eyesight or the steady hands to be able to do this kind of detailing. I would make a mess of it. Battery, you see I used photo wedge battery hold downs there. There's that throttle spring I was telling you about earlier, and you can see where the throttle linkage comes through the firewall. I put a lot of effort into detailing this, and this was researched with old car magazines. This was pre-internet. Here you can get an idea of how the subtle metallic is in that paint. I really wish I could remember what I put this over. If it was white or if it was silver. I don't want to. I certainly don't want to chip anything off to see what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was white. Picked out the GTX emblems with a fine brush. Chrome trim is all bare metal foil. So yeah, this is it. This is my 69 MPC GTX kit. Again, one of my older builds, and probably one of my my most valued builds. It's one that I really put a lot of effort, a lot of time on this, and this was when my modeling skills were finally I think beginning to develop, and it was becoming a decent modeler. And I don't know, had I kept at it, who knows what I'd be doing today. But I enjoy this, and I'm enjoying building the way I build now, which is keep it simple, stupid. I'd rather keep it simple and have something to show for it than to try to get a little too aggressive. I'm afraid if I tried to do this today, I'd make a mess of it. So that's it. That's MPC 69 GTX in today's episode of Off the Wall. Thanks for watching.